Hear me? Fantastic. It's just such a great turnout, and I'm really thrilled about that, because I think this is something that needs to happen for our community, just to let people know how we're feeling, what we've been through in the last, someone told me, 15 days. We're not counting. I have noticed there's a lot of flies hanging around me. We don't shower anymore. It's a new thing. But my name's Louise Parsons, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm just a... Watch out, Ra. Stealing your thunder, darling. So I'm a community member. I live in Whirinaki in North Shore Road, and we've all been devastated by this and all affected. Even though my house is standing quite nicely, my community isn't, and so all of our hearts are broken, but we're all feeling unsafe. And I have lived in Whirinaki for over 20 years, and I love our community, and I've always felt safe in our community. So the reason I sort of tried to gather people together is because there's been so many stories about what's been going on with the crime, and we have to call it what it is, and it's looting, because it's not burglary. It's when people prey on the vulnerable, that's looting. And so I think what we need to do is for you to let people know what's been happening firsthand, because really we've been kind of left to our own devices somewhat, and let's face it, this is unprecedented times, and you know the purpose of this meeting is not to bring out pitchforks. I did say leave them at the gate. There's no point, you know, you can't saw sawdust. It's done. We've got through the worst of it, and what we need to do now is we need to see what can we do in the future better, because as we all know, probably security wasn't at the top of the agenda in the disaster recovery, and it needs to be next time for the next disaster. Sorry, that's a bit low, isn't it? God, we're just trying to get through this one. I did have notes, and I knew this would happen. So I better introduce the people that have come here that can actually help us. So, you know, I think very brave politicians came tonight to listen, and they have assured me they're here to listen. You know, they're not here, they don't even want to come up and sit here because they want to listen to you. And I think we need to grab that opportunity, because politicians aren't good at listening, generally are they? No, I'm joking. But we need to really use that, we need to use this platform, not to be angry, not to blame. There's no reason to blame, it's done. What we need to do is for them to listen so they can learn. They can learn what needs to happen next time, all right? Because I know I haven't slept much for the last 15 nights, and that's because sometimes my husband's been out on patrol. We don't know what's happening. We just don't feel safe, and that needs to change. It needs to change for next time. So thank you, Stuart, for coming. So Stuart Nash is here, our Napier MP for Labour and Minister of Police. Yep. And Nicole McKee. So Nicole is represented, she's the Justice and Gun Reform spokesperson for ACT. So thank you for coming. And she really reiterated, I'm here to listen. I know this is a community meeting. Mark Mitchell is over here. So Mark Mitchell is from National, and he's the police spokesperson, plus an ex-cop. So he's one of the heroes, another one of the heroes. We've got Jeanette Park here, and she is the District Area Commander. Is that right? Oh, District, yeah, that District Area, that's oxymoron, isn't it? Anyway, and so while I'm introducing you and acknowledging that you're here, I think we really need you to know what a fantastic job your frontline cops have been doing for us. They are our heroes, and I'm going to just say that for everybody, because they have been phenomenal. They're part of our family now. They have done the best they can under the circumstances, and we really are grateful for that. So thank you. We know how hard you guys are working. So Napier Mayor Kirsten Wise is here. Thank you, Kirsten. And Hastings District Mayor Sandra Hazelhurst, who also are here to listen. They have the same concerns as we do, so they want to learn from this too. Katie Nimmin, our national candidate for Napier. So Katie's here, again, to listen and to learn. So why the media, I've been asked. You know. It's all about me. In all honesty, the media is here not to beat up on the politicians. The media is here because I think it's the best way for New Zealand to see what's been going on. And we're not the only community this has affected. You guys may have been at Puketapu today, you said at a meeting, same concerns. This weather event hasn't just affected us, and there's going to be more, so I think if we can share our experiences, I'm pretty confident they'll be having the same ones as us. So if the media can get that message out for us, that would be amazing. So this is not about beat up, that doesn't get you anywhere. We want change, and I do still believe, I'm an optimist, I do believe in people power. So the media can really help us with people power. Thank you guys for being here. So the rules. We're very much still in crisis mode, very much, and we're tired, and we're still feeling vulnerable. We're a bit angry, but it's, again, this is a platform to get our point across, not to blame. We won't get anywhere if we do that. So I really want to encourage you to share tonight. We will listen to you. We've got a roaming mic. I have to ask for your forgiveness now because the last thing I want to do is to stop anybody speaking, but if you go off the track and start talking about other issues, I do need to interrupt, so please forgive me for that. We want to keep this about security and safety. That's what this is all about. There's time for the other stuff later. And your stories, they're enormous. Your stories are huge, but we don't have a lot of time, so keep them brief. And that's going to be really hard for me to stop you if you go too long, so please don't do that. So now's your chance, guys. This is your meeting. This is our meeting. And so we would encourage you to talk now about your first-hand experiences, or you might want to share somebody else's that isn't so brave enough to speak in this forum. I think that just about covers everything. So all I've got to ask now is, who wants to go first?
Louise?
Yeah.
Whoever speaks, could they speak quite loudly, because there's a lot of people out here that can't hear.
Do you want me to start again?
No.
I'm joking.
Whoever's next.
Okay, so who's next? We're just going to get you a mic.
I'll come up there.
Oh, he's sorted. That's right.
First of all, apologies for my dress. You'll find there's lots of people up our street that dress like this.
That's who the flies.
Early on in the piece, 4 days in, we decided that security was an issue. We'd had people driving by, we'd had reports of looting, so on North Shore Road we decided to have a roster, block half the street and just park a car down there. So I was on the 12 till 1 shift, wondering what would happen if someone came by. Anyway, 2 utes screamed by from right to left, which is from Whirinaki Road going back into town. Bearing in mind this was just after the road had been cleared, so it wasn't a road, it was between all the trees. The guys at the mill had got some machines and actually dragged stuff aside. Anyway, 12:30 at night, 2 utes, dark utes, going real quick, going the wrong way. There was no need for them to be out there. Anyway, the cops came by from left to right very quickly, about 15 minutes later. Lights were flashing. They came back and stopped and had a chat and said, "Have you seen anyone around?" I said, "Yeah, 2 utes about 15-20 minutes ago." They had been chasing those guys for all evening. But if I hadn't been there and they decided to come down our street, what would have happened? Ultimately, everybody is scared. No one's sleeping properly. So that little roster that we put in place maybe made people sleep a bit easier. But that's just an example of the pressures that not just our street, all of the streets have been under. And it's great to see more cops around, because now we've got more cops coming into the area. They're doing a great job driving up and down the street at all hours of the night and making us sleep better. So there's your first example.
Thank you.
Who wants to go next? Oh, thanks. Can we get a mic? Oh, sorry.
Go around that way. Which way? Do I have to come out there?
You can stand there if you want.
Go forward.
Doug, you can stay there because then everyone can hear you.
Right, 2:30 a.m. last Friday morning in North Shore Road. Was asleep in bed, heard a noise. It sounded like someone coming over an iron fence.
Just speak really loudly so they can hear.
Came over an iron fence next door. I got out of bed, listened, waited, held the torch for a few minutes to see if I could find someone, see anyone. Couldn't hear a thing, couldn't see anyone. Turns out the next morning the owner came back because they were staying away, and I've been keeping an eye on it for them. And there was 3 points of entry. They tried to break into the house, branch slider at the back, the top deck door, pulled all the door handle off, tried to get in a window, and then were attempting the car. I had actually gone to the front of the house, our place, and shone the torch out. There's a vehicle on the drive. And it turns out there's a garage door clicker on the visor. They were trying to get into the car to get the garage door visor. So that was a very real next door experience, which has made my family a lot jumpier.
Yeah. Thank you, Doug. Well done. Oh, Tony? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'll get you next, Thomas.
Hi, I hope you can hear me. I moved over from the UK in September from London, and it feels less safe in Napier than London, which I didn't think I'd say. I'll give you 2 examples. So last night we faced the domain on Charles Street. We had someone in our bedrooms, our downstairs living room upstairs. We had someone flashing a torch into the kids' room at about 1 o'clock the night before last to see if anyone's in. And then just as I was coming out of the house today, I nearly got run over by a stolen car coming down the street, screeching around the corner, with the police following shortly after. So that was, live and breathe. I think the big point for me is it's here, right? There's comments that there's been no uptick in crime during the cyclone. I think we've got to ask the question of what was the level of crime before the cyclone, because if it's unacceptably high and it's not changed, it's still unacceptably high. There's stolen cars being dumped on the domain daily. I understand that before the cyclone there's 15 cars being stolen per day across Napier and Hastings. It's a huge number of cars. You go to swimming pools, people have got no patches. If you've got a patch tattooed on your back, it's pretty intimidating. I just think that there's got to be a real look in the mirror and say, there's always going to be an element of crime, but what is the acceptable level of crime? And at the moment, it feels unacceptable.
Thank you. Well done.
Paul Baker, Whirinaki Road. Paul Baker, Whirinaki Road. I wish to report. Paul Baker, Whirinaki Road. I wish to report 3 incidents whereby we had suspicions raised. One was a white Toyota Hiace panel van with blackened glass at the rear, whose occupant parked up at various places along Whirinaki Road and elsewhere and just noted things. He wasn't a local resident. We raised the matters with the police. The police attended to things promptly and found out that the occupant of the vehicle was registered to a Hastings address. And at this stage, 2 or 3 days into the actual incident, with all our gear strewn across our properties, we felt it was suspicious having a person there doing that kind of thing. Secondly, we had 2 motorcyclists ride up our street with video cameras on their cell phones, videoing all our gear when it was out on the road. And we didn't think that was acceptable either. That was also reported to the police, and to their credit, the police attended quickly, took details and records of the photographs, so things could be dealt with. But put it this way, we didn't feel that we should be easy meat. We felt that we should be protected and we should work with the police. We should work safer communities together. And to an extent we did, but we found we actually had no empowerment to do anything that was legal. And that left some of the people in our street thinking, what can they do irrespective of that? And I put that to you, that we're not alone in that. We would like some assistance to do things the right way around and deal with the problems that we've got successfully, effectively and efficiently, safely. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Heidi and I'm from Mariwa and outskirts of Maraenui, and from my point of view and our community there, this has been going on for quite some time, so it's probably not that new to us. And and we're also quite surrounded by a lot of methamphetamine houses, so this kind of behaviour has been going on for some time, and we've been trying to or communicate, or whenever we call the police, we note that a lot of the police end up just laughing with the gang members or the methamphetamine users, and they just end up walking off. So yeah, from my point of view, this is not unusual. So I just want to say that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Evening, everybody. This isn't our first rodeo. The government of the day in 2011 experienced a catastrophic event in Christchurch. You quickly deployed the military to assist you. There seems to be an undertone in the community, sorry, not in the community, at a higher level with government and central government, that if we utilise the military for law and order, or to assist law and order, the government of the day has lost control. You have not. You've gained control. Okay? I'm ex-military. The boys aren't on too many deployments overseas at the moment, okay? And they're here to assist the country. So please, you need to make a procedure when we have an event like this again. It's a standard operating procedure. You utilise the military to assist you in law and order. Shortly after the event, you should have placed a curfew. Again, this should be a standard operating procedure going forward. Okay, you need to just take control, just close areas down. Those good law-abiding citizens will fully back you and support you, and you will get a vote next time round. Okay? Everyone's story tonight is pretty touching, and until you've been in the situation of being threatened, until you've been in the situation where you're dialing 111 every night because you're doing a 4-hour sentry on the gate into your road, and you get a little bit tired. Like we said before, the police on the ground, fantastic effort. I praise them so much. They're the troopies out there doing it. Well done. So government, central governments, please put some policies in place. When we have a natural disaster of this scale, you start using your resources. You haven't lost control, you have gained control. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Klaus. Just on the matter of reporting incidents. Well, we know that we just had a house busted in Rogers Road last week. So if you're actually living in that area, are you reporting an incident because you see a car that you don't know? You have no idea what repercussions come up the road after you did. So people are afraid. They are not always reporting incidents.
I'm Quint. I was one of the people running the response for pretty much the stuff civil defence didn't do. We had a pretty awesome team on security, all ex-military running it, and a whole heap of volunteers. We had 6 people at a time down at the Waitomo station, stopping people, all rostered, fully on. we did that for 2 nights. While we were sort of running that whole thing, we had guys from USA and FENS giving us advice. They pretty much said to me, what are you going to do? What are you going to achieve? If someone comes up that road and does pull a gun and shoots one of you guys, what's that achieved? And pretty much because I'd taken the lead and everything came off on my shoulders, they said to me I could get done with manslaughter. So the police were cooperating with us. It was all organised. The organisers that we were ex-policemen and ex-military, so we took all the precautions that we could. But at the end of the day, the buck stopped with me going to prison if we did it wrong, because we were in a black area. We were dealing outside the law. You're not allowed to stop people on a road. We were there and saying it was just a slow down point, which a lot of the people were really grateful for, and we did get people do U-E's and turn the other way before they got to us. So it was effective, but at the end of the day, I had to, against the wishes of my team, I said, pull back, we're not doing it tonight. So they all wanted to keep doing it, so it was me that said no. So, but that's the position that we're put in with the law as it is today. So pretty much if you want to help your community, you're breaking the law. That's where we stand at the day. So we really need something changed in that order to not have people in my position and the community in that position, like risking their lives for their fellow community members. Yep. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm a resident in Bayview, just out by the Napier Taupo Bridge, and as a comment was said, you know, curfews probably did need to be put in place. So we had rubberneckers driving up our road just to have a look at the damage and scoping the area. So, you know, yeah, things like that, we do need to look closely at that side of things. I'm also a resident of Tūtera, and probably like this community, our own community, that area is affected. They're still in isolation. I mean, my old man's up there, he's 80. You know, they're bloody living in fear. They've had no communication from our MPs and from our councillors. So, you know, I just feel that, you know, we need to get up there and help those people. Okay, like I say, everyone's in fear at the moment, and we need to get up there and make the effort and show them that, hey, we do care about them. I mean, it's all right for us. We're still connected to town. Hey, we can actually still drive to town. But that community up there, they're isolated. The Devil's Elbow's a mess. You know, we actually need to speed things up. And I know that it's like a bloody dog locked in a kennel too long. They're going to go mad. And we as a community, Bayview, that's our bloody. They're only 30 minutes from us. So let's all stick together and think, what can we actually do for the wider community as well? I know that this is an issue for Bayview. Okay, but we have to just stick together, not take law into our own hands, but at the end of the day, look after your street. Hey, stick tight as a community. I mean, yeah, the police have been doing an awesome job, but we've only got limited resources here. Hey, so at the end of the day, we're probably the best bet, and having each other's back is where it's probably going to be at. But just once again, to our MPs, our councillors, don't forget about Tūtera. Okay, make that journey up there, and let's look after those people.
Sorry, just one other thing. We had all the organisation and to do the job. Pretty much all we needed to do is have 2 police delegated to us, so we had them with us, and we could make up the team. But it was just having that backup there. I think that would have made all the difference. So I don't know how that stands, but that's another little thing that could be happening.
I just want to quickly sort of say, because, you know, we are talking about the future, but our future's still present because this is ongoing. You know, we're still in the midst of this state of emergency, and so anything that is listened to tonight, maybe if there's things implemented straight away, simple things, that would be amazing. Because, you know, we are talking long term, but we still have an immediate need right now. Who's next?
Hiya, I'm going to come from a very similar but very different angle. I'm here from Rotorua as part of the trauma response crew. I've been based out of Eskdale, been here a couple of days now. The very clear message that I'm hearing is that these people aren't feeling heard. They are raising these concerns and they're doing what they can, and they're not feeling that they have the power. They feel like if they ask for help, someone comes in over them, that there's not a with them approach being taken. It's like was pointed out, it's a criticism, it's being minimised. In Rotorua, we have no idea of the level of devastation that's going on down here. None. And I don't understand the thinking around minimising the level of harm if that's what's happening, because that's what it looks like. And I've come down here and there is heartbreak everywhere. So whatever you guys are doing as a community, it's beautiful. It is beautiful and it's recognised. Maybe not at the level it needs to be yet, or maybe not how you see it, but please keep going. It's heartening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, people in Napier have no idea what's going on out here.
That's right. Sorry, Tony. We'll bring it back up there next.
You can keep it there, Luke. Please, you can just do this.
Oh, that would be clever. That's why the technicals help. Thank you.
So a couple of things. My husband saw some suspicious activity in Bayview. We were at Buchanan Street. He got out on the road, called 105. No, that's a joke. 105 is a automated response. It's not a person telling you to go online and fill a form out. How? We had no Wi-Fi. So off he trots round to the community centre where there is Wi-Fi to lodge the complaint. The response we got, I can show you. Make sure we trim our hedges to make sure the burglars can't see our house. Have our passports being stolen. It's a joke. 105 is a joke. It wasn't an emergency, so we're not going to call 111. We're going to do 105. Second thing is, in regards to the closing of the road, why are there people coming into Bayview that aren't here for a reason? There's no way out. It should be residents only, or it should have been residents only from the start, and then now it should be only people that are coming out to help or residents. No one else should be allowed out here. Simple as.
Hi everyone. So if you've been on Facebook this afternoon, you would have seen an experience I had just today. I live in Franklin Road in the right-of-way part that looks back onto the vineyard. About 2 o'clock I'd pulled up at home in front of my house, and next thing there's 2 cars coming down the driveway. The right-of-way, we have surface flooding after heavy rain, and so I see a wave starting heading towards my garage. Now the first one was a SUV with a trailer. He didn't stop, but I said, "Hey, what are you doing?" The second one, which was a ute with a tinny on the top, he pulled up, 2 guys in it. He said, "Oh, we're out helping people," but very aggressive in his attitude and posturing these 2 guys in the car. Not the attitude of people to be helping, and if they were out helping, they wouldn't be driving through the surface flooding at a high speed, which they did. They appeared to be thinking about getting out of the car and approaching me. Now, obviously, if they had, there was 2 guys and me, somebody would have been hurt. So that's the reality of it. What they did is they thought about it and they floored it and took off at high speed. Yeah. So I don't think they're out helping people. I didn't see any wheelbarrows in their ute. They're out looking for goods to steal. Yeah. And that's today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Terry. I'm from the Te Awa Awatoto side Just to give you a quick update as to what's happened out that side, we have got a couple of yellow stickered houses out in Te Awa Estate, and the very first night, obviously the yellow stickered houses are unoccupied. There was a break-in, and all the one yellow stickered houses external garden furniture disappeared. So we've mobilized street patrols in the Te Awa area. The very next night, our golf course that was underwater got hit, and all their furniture, damaged as well as undamaged furniture, was taken. The very next night, all their lawn mowing and mowing equipment was stolen. We've had a retirement centre, or the retirement village at the back of Te Awa. There's a construction site there that was hit on Saturday night. There's a lot of activity out there. During the course of the last week, we've had 2 police patrols between the hours of 9 at night and 6 in the morning. It's not enough. It's honestly not enough. My question is, if the situation is as per normal, then why is the Eagle helicopter flying around from 9 at night till about 4 every morning for the last week, 10 days? The Eagle helicopter, I'm ex-Auckland, I know the Eagle helicopter flies when required to fly, okay? They do not fly at will, because they cost a lot of money. It's all external guys that are flying it. Maybe the police commissioner can answer that question, because I don't know. I don't know that there's enough. There's a definite willingness on the part of communities to get involved with neighbourhood watches and to start that aspect or that side of things, but there needs to be some community and police marrying up so that we can actually work together. At the end of the day, our hands are tied. We are just eyes and ears for the police. 105 number is useless. Yeah. Really.
So hang on, the question was, show of hands, how many people reported any suspicious behaviour?
Oh, the question should be, how many of them had cell phone coverage?
How many didn't is more important.
How many people saw it but didn't report it?
And I think that's the crux of the issue, is it's a bit of an apathy, because it's so prevalent. And there's so much other more important stuff going on.
Well, that's the problem, is that everybody is putting their back into, trying to save their communities. But yeah.
Can I just say something?
Sure. Can you just grab the mic, please?
Thanks.
Yeah, g'day. Look, I'd just like to know, for the rural people who haven't turned up, a lot have armed up. Whether you want to hear it or not, people have their guns out. It is only a matter of time. We went into Big Save to get some more ammo. It actually wasn't for people, it was for deer. They've virtually sold out of shotguns. So it's going to happen. It's only a matter of time. What's going to be done to, say, a father protecting his family when scumbags come in to get whatever? What rights do we have at home? And a lot of people want to know this, but a lot of people are armed. And you're dreaming if you think we're not. Sorry, guys, that's the reality of it. You can sweep it under the rug as much as you like, but you're bloody dreaming.
Hey, just remember that, that's why we're here, is to tell the truth. And so that they can listen. That's exactly why we're here. So thank you.
There's a lot of people that are armed.
Yep. Thank you.
At what point, when you're confronted with a firearm, can you revert to deadly force?
You can't.
Well, we're just gonna keep this going, and we'll come to questions and answers later, maybe, if
We will fight for our children. End of story.
Yeah. Okay, who's next?
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Sue from Maurewa. Right, we weren't hit in the floods, but what we're talking about is an ongoing problem that's been going on for ever. We get cars burning out all bloody night, stolen cars, we get people casing out our properties. Half the time we don't report it because we're intimidated. We're too bloody scared because they know who we are, they know where we live, they live bloody next door. And who's going to protect us? Like, we've had enough.
And, garden furniture, sorry about that.
Yeah, garden furniture, like anything. No,
The other question is, where does it get reported to?
We ring the police.
The 105 number doesn't work, and it's not an emergency.
But even
The police are about 20
Can we
years
just keep it to order, please?
Yeah.
Because we're doing one at a time, and we want to give everybody an opportunity to share their stories. It's not a time for opinions as such. We just want to share the truth, and that's what you're doing.
Yeah, so it's not a lot of not reporting's not about apathy. A
No.
lot of it's about intimidation. We're actually too bloody scared.
Yeah. Okay, who is next? Does anyone over this side want to speak? Yeah, thank you.
Hi, my name's Kirsten. I'm from Rotorua as well. I actually whakapapa to Waipukurau, so Hawke's Bays have got a very special place in my heart. But I just want to say we need less hooey and more doey. Common sense. It's not too late to get the military in there. We just need more action.
Cool.
Yeah, g'day. My name's Tom Lovett, North Shore Road. We were sitting having a bourbon the other night, and a car drives past, and my wife jumps up and goes, that's not one of our cars. And I'm thinking, come on, you're just paranoid. Anyway, it was a Falcon. I don't know what the number plate was. She rung it through. Shortly after she'd gone to bed, police car pulls up with a lady in it, and he goes, oh, where's the lady with the headlight? And I said, well, she's gone to bed. I said, did you track that car down? Yeah, we tracked that car down. They said they went to the Urupara, I think that's the Maori Cemetery, I don't know if that's the right word, at the end of the street. Now, she looked at me and she smiled, and I said, yeah, funny time, isn't it? It's about 9:30 at night and it's dark. But I just want to say there's one thing that really, I don't know how many people of you have seen TV over the last, since this happened, but I saw it probably for the first time 3 or 4 days ago, because most of the people have been out there working. They don't have TV for a starter. And the TV comes on and all I hear about is people at the top telling us how well they're doing. And I'm thinking, really? If those other people, the people that are caught up in this haven't seen what's going on in the media, because they haven't got a TV, they haven't got power, they haven't got anything. So it'd be interesting if we really saw, but it was really disappointing to see people stand up and go, oh, we've got this under control, we've got this. I don't think they have.
We are probably going to have time for maybe 2 more after this. Is that okay?
Yep.
Cool, thanks. Bye.
So we're all here with concerns for our safety in the community and what's going on out there, but for me, for the first week of this disaster, if someone was banging on my back door, I live 2 kilometres out of town on a rural property, about half a k from the next house. If someone came banging on my house for the first week, I had to jump in the car and drive to Mitre 10 in Napier to make a phone call. So I don't know how many other people, how many other networks were down. I know that mine, Vodafone, wasn't working. I couldn't make data, I couldn't make phone calls. So I'd like to know how we're going to future-proof the networks so that when we've got these issues, we've got these safety concerns, we've got people on our back doors, how we're going to get the people out here to help us, because 105 and 111's no good if you can't call them.
Yep. Hi guys, this is BK. Some of you probably recognise me from the roadblocks. Some of you probably might have heard me on the radio. I'm just going to echo what Quinton said, mate. We were roadblocking for a large portion of the time, and the support from our crew was phenomenal. Boots on the ground, boys in blue and girls in blue, legends. somewhere in between. I think the message got lost. For the fella from England, I did a bit of homework this afternoon on crime, what's actually been reported in the media and what the police website says differently. But one thing, first-hand account, roadblock first night, 34 cars questioned, number plates taken, 26 with known gang affiliation, verified by our lovely boys and girls in blue, so that's 76% as known gang affiliates. And that was down the other end heading down Whirinaki Road. So that's a bit of an interesting number. Don't know what they were doing out of town, but anyway. The other number that we've got is, according to the media, we've got 11 cases of burglary reported in Hawke's Bay, and that's no different. No, that was this afternoon, don't have a giggle. That was on a reputable station, verified by 2 police spokespeople. But for the same period last year, and I looked it up, courtesy of the police website, the same period as for the last 4 or 5 years is respectively 4 a day, 5 a day and 6 a day. So that's a 100% increase for those of that struggle with maths. We actually just needed a hand, and we asked for it and it wasn't forthcoming. That's the thing I want to know. We asked for a hand and it wasn't forthcoming. The local guys on the beat, you're legends.
Yep. Thank you. Well done. One, two more. Did you had your hand up before too? Did you? Okay.
I just want to say a couple of points. Onehunga Road, armed up.
Yep, you're right.
And we've heard everybody's stories here tonight, and well, they're not stories, the reality of what's going on. What really concerns me is we have elections every 3 years. We've got Mark here, we've got Stewie here from the police. What's actually going on to transfer this institutional knowledge so that when the next disaster happens, we've got a rule book that we can come out and go, we need to mobilise the bloody army, we need to do this, we need to do that. We've had so many learnings and they're not being, we're just dumb. We just keep reinventing the wheel instead of getting started, get the army in, block this in, block that out, do this, do that. It's all learnings. Everybody here has given some really good feedback tonight. Yep. What are you doing about actually converting it into positive rule books that when we have a change in politician, we have a change in government, we have a change in mayor, it all gets passed on so that this institutional hiccups that keep happening don't keep happening. Yep. Because they still do. We've been helping people in the rural community. We got told to piss off 3 times by civil defence. I've got farmers that are bloody stuck way out in the middle of nowhere and had an accident trying to save his family. He's in Rotorua Hospital 10 days before anybody got to him, you know. This stuff should be learnt, you know, and what are we doing to actually do that? Because everybody's here's got valid points, it's all real, but what are we actually doing? What's the government going to do to put things in place long term to hand down the institutional knowledge? Because a lot of these people here that are a bit older, like myself who's still 21, but they've been through stuff, you know, and there's a lot of learning. Another thing that needs to come out is you need to embrace the communities that are affected. There's heaps of local knowledge, back routes, how to do things, what's going on, and we get told go away. It's just not good enough, you know, and that's the learnings that we need to take out of it to go forward, you know. You can't run a business if you don't keep learning, and it's a business, this. Yes. Get things sorted.
Cool, nice. One over here and one here, and that's it. Is it all right?
Okay.
Who, sorry? Oh, yeah, and you.
Hi everybody, I'm Lynn. I live in Taradale in a place where luckily we weren't directly affected apart from the minor inconvenience of losing power. However, it was pretty disconcerting seeing patched gang members walking up our street where they don't usually come. My kids, the neighbours' kids, get disconcerted. That's a little thing. My daughter's friend, he's 18, he's still young. He's got elderly grandparents and aunts, and he's been helping with a road patrol because they're terrified. They're in the Brookfields area where people shouldn't be going, and they've been turning away cars. And now he's staying there because he feels like he has to protect them. All he can do is dial 111. That leads me into talking about a population that we're not really talking about tonight is our young people. A lot of them are growing up fast. Some of them are going to become resilient, but some of them are going to be affected by everyone's anxiety and that hypervigilance because of the situation. And so, excuse me, I'm not a good public speaker.
You're doing great.
And, you know, our young people need this for them too. Like there's a young person I saw before, got on your gummies. So we're the adults, but there's young people having to grow up fast, and they're seeing things they really should never see or have to hear their parents and neighbours talk about because they're scared. The adults are scared. I work in mental health services, and I'm really anxious for what is to possibly come, and we want to help as far as we can. And you also know that services are already under pressure. So getting good support early can alleviate some of that future mental health issues. So I'm here to stand up for the young people.
You, then that lovely lady, and then that gentleman.
Oh, hi guys, I'm Mel. I'm Quint's wife, so I just stood up to be the secretary really and help where I could. It's been a phenomenal experience helping in our community. Everybody, every single person has stood up and done more than 100% to help everybody, and that's a phenomenal thing to be involved in. But I just wanted to speak to you about your comments before. What are we doing and learning and moving forward? One of the things that our team that was helping at King George Hall was that we haven't finished doing what we want to do, and part of the thing that we see as really, really important is us documenting what we did, grabbing local knowledge, working with communities, working with the councils, so that when this happens again, there is things in place that we can work together, and that the councils can somehow empower their communities to help and do this. So hand on heart, that is what we want to do, and what a task force of us will do to make sure that those communications go into councils and parliament and stuff, so that we can learn from what's happened.
The trick is to get them to do something with the information you provide.
Now.
Just following on from both of those. 2 weeks in, we've still got the likes of Andrew Costa, Andrew Little, Chris Hipkins saying police are coping, everything's fine, there's no violence. So you're all testimony to that's just not true. Police are coping locally due to the locals doing the policing. You know, it's the wrong way round. There's a huge gap. And why is only, I'm not sure if it's 6% or 9% of our armed forces deployed to help us? We're not at war. We're not at threat. You know, I think there's so much that needs addressing at the level you're talking about, at the parliamentary, the ministerial level. And for one, I feel incredibly let down by people who lie. And it is dead straight lies. When they... And just the last point I want to make, why on God's earth could 5 or 6 police on Sunday afternoon just gone at 4:30 be at Miani Road with a radar camera doing speed checks? Was there nothing better to do? They could have asked me, I'd have given them a job. Wouldn't you? Couldn't we? Isn't there a better thing to do than a radar speed check? 5 police. Not a police car in sight, but 5. I was like, oh my God, there's the cops, you know.
What about revenue?
How are we going, guys? I'm Cameron from the Waiheke area. I'm an orchardist.
So I'm used to crime. I've spent many nights in the hedge years ago protecting my petrol bowsers. The crime, they know that the guys know that they're 20 minutes. The police are 20 minutes away, so it's all they're in and out and all that. So this time when it came along, I mean, my area's I've lost my house. All my neighbours are all yellow stickered. So I've lost my pack house. So the first thing I did, I knew the stress we're living in the rural area too, you've got to remember, is we're working on the land, and when we have a bad day on the land, we go home, but it's still in the same place. We can't escape, you know. So if you're having a bad day at work in the town, you go home and it's a happy place, but we're living on the land. So my neighbour lost his life down in Franklin Road too. So so the first thing I did, we actually had paid security. I knew it wasn't for good because we're all armed. We're all farmers, horticulturalists, so we do have guns. And I was very scared for the community on Franklin Road. So for me, it was a no-brainer. I've just done it. You know, I've lost so much. It's not going to cost for $40 an hour to have a security guard at Franklin Road, you know, and what heck that is. Whoop-de-doo, you know, I've lost tens of millions. Another thing is, I was lucky to wake up early and I had access to a helicopter. So I flew around and rescued a lot of people off the roofs and ceiling cavities, saw a lot. Day 3, I was still flying for the community, and I didn't get paid for any of this. I was flying into the farms because a lot of farmers flying generators in, and I got rewarded. You know, it might have been a 20-minute flight in the helicopter. I got generators at work to pump the sheds, pump my pack houses out, so I got rewarded from the community. But then Civil Aviation and FENS clipped their wings. There was a no-fly zone. You know, I was getting emails from Tūtera, from staff who lived there, wanting me to fly out for medicine. You know, I was flying people, diabetics, you know, where they're off the charts, and then with FENS clipping the wings, saying if you fly, you'll lose your licence. Yeah, but they're at 200. They're not flying. I'm flying at 1,000 feet. You know, I've got air to, you know, come on, 2,000 feet. Yeah, exactly. It is the reason. And I'm getting now permission now to fly, doing missions, but it's all none of this was funded. But yeah, that's just my story. I've got to be careful. I don't want to go into that. But yeah, I mean, this is. I mean, I risked my life, so I was landing on roofs. And we're just pulling them in, you know. You've got to remember too, we've got modern helicopters, you know. The rescue have got old BKs, you know. The choppers are older than me, you know. The winching protocols, they can't, you know. I just got to be careful. I don't want to be sued with WorkSafe and all that. But it was my risk, you know. It was me and the pilot, you know. We risked our lives for the community. They were trying to send me to I can't remember, and I said I've got my own community to save. Yeah, it was a bit of a shambles.
I'm sorry, I'm a new neighbour in the neighbourhood. I've only been here in Bayview. It's a beautiful place, a beautiful community. I'm actually affiliated with Waihe, where he comes from, and also Omahu. They're all flooded. And everybody's been trying to get from Dothan Rise to help me. I said, no, you got incredible whānau there. And we've got a great neighbourhood. All the North Shore Roads have taken us in with open arms. And it's been really, really humbling. My brother, he was going to fly a chopper down to pick Maggie and Rusty, our dog, up, because there's too much crime here. He knows because he grew up here, he's a golf pro up in West Harbour. So if you want a free golf lesson, I'll put in a good name for you. So basically what I'm saying, It's the loving interest of the community that have saved us. Because I'm too old to go and chop someone over the head anymore with a baton, and it's illegal because I'm a nurse. And my job is to sustain life, not take it away. And Lynn, who spoke before, she's right. We deal with mental health, and everybody's incredibly shaken, full of anxiety, lost a lot with all the pride they've spent in their gardens and their homes. It's all destroyed. But we have each other, which is more marvellous. And it was crazy. I would empty my car out, and I'll give this to that lovely blonde constable that was driving past on down Pahutakawa Drive. I was emptying my car. She looked at me as if I'm a looter. I said, I'm Ra, I'm famous, I've been on TV3, and she laughed. And I said, I'm just emptying the car before the insurance company take it away. And I felt proud of her because she was examining me hardly with her eyes. And I smiled back sweetly, and I thought, I've got no black power jackets on or motor more. I just thought I'd lighten this up because we are all serious about our safety. And when you get as old as me on a pension, your natural physique, it deteriorates, although I'm still good looking for my age. Thank you.
So Ra, she was probably trying to get your autograph. And I knew you'd try and steal my thunder. So she's our local celebrity in what we're calling North Shore Road and Pahutakawa Drive is the Golden Circle, because it's some pretty magic stuff that has happened as a result of this. I said I've lived in our street for 20 years. I didn't know half the people, and now they are more than family. I've definitely adopted Ra and Maggie. They're stuck with me forever. So we have to take some really, really good stuff out of here. You know, this is about the failings and learning from them, but there's some really, really good stuff that's come too, and I hope we can document some of these stories one day as well, because we have lived through tragedy, we've lived through this horrible thing, but there's been some really good stuff that's come out of it as well. And I know that's a stupid thing to say when people have lost everything, but the community that we live in is so, so special, and we're going to keep fighting for each other. Now, Kristen Wise, the beautiful Amazon-looking, beautiful, blonde, lovely lady there at the back, if you want to share some more stories, we need these stories. Yeah, there she is.
Not wise.
But if you want to share some more stories, can you please go and see Kristen? Did I say Wise?
Yeah.
But she is wise, that's what I meant. It's Kristen Spears, sorry. My brain has stopped today, give me a break. So now tonight's not a night for response, because what I think we need to do now is let our powers to be, who bravely, let's face it, came here today. I think you guys have been absolutely, utterly respectful, and this means we will get progress. What I'm going to suggest is in maybe 6 weeks' time, we do this again, give them a chance to come and respond and say, this is what we've taken from you, and this is the plan, as someone said over here, to move forward. Okay, apart from anything really urgent that we can get done now, because our problems haven't gone away just because we've met here. I know you've got your hand up, but I think.
Waiting a long time.
All right, come on then, say it.
Dave Trans, Trico Security.
Oh, Dave.
I want to know why all of our crime seems to come from a certain sector, and you guys all left little bits to it. I want to know if the police can charge a certain group that keep coming in here and burgling from us, and all this theft and dishonesty and looting, with being part of a criminal gang, a criminal activity, and keep them out of here. You know, because seriously, most people are saying where it's coming from. We all know they've got tattoos on their faces with bulldogs. Right? We all know that's where a lot of our crime is coming from. We all know that when we're standing in the street, and I see with the TV cameras as I was going past, and I saw a vehicle that was coming in, I knew the plate straight away was the local mob. Called the police, once again, police did an excellent job. But at the end of the day,
we need to try and stop them coming to our area. And when you said, hey, stop them coming into Bayview, man, that's a good start.
Can I back this man up? Because tonight while I was waiting for my mate to pick me up, to come here, I was just talking to a woman on the street, and she said, oh, have you seen Making News on Facebook? I said, no, I don't follow them. She said, well, the helicopters that fly over have the police and someone on Making News has been tracking where the police cars and the helicopters are tracking, and they all go back to one area of nature. We know where that is.
Yeah.
So why aren't the police going there and doing something? You get paid good money.
Yeah, instead you speed checks.
So they're bloody
soft on them.
Okay, look, I felt that was directed at me, and I'm not like that. Yes, one last thing. I'm supposed to be controlling this. Go on. I'm scared of you.
It's really sad that I thought of this while we're sitting here. My daughter said to me the other day, who is 18 years old, she said to me, Mum, my friends are leaving Napier and Hawke's Bay because of the gang issues and because they don't feel safe. And that is really
Okay, well that's fantastic, because I was trying to leave on a positive.
Sorry. Sorry.
And it did remind me that I forgot to say something on behalf of the beautiful people at the Bayview pub, Adrian and Trevor. And this is what I mean about community, is we do this anyway. You know, this is not a failing on community and organisations. This is what we do anyway, and of course it's expected of us. It's what we do. But they have had to pay $10,000 in security out of their own pocket, and they are very concerned that that's not going to be reimbursed. So I know they're not happy about that, and I said I'd mention it tonight. But this is just, you know, these are absolute local legends and heroes that have been feeding everybody every night. They've made the pub our safe zone. And they need to be reimbursed for that, because
They're all fun. Everyone to the
yeah. And they are that Bayview is Napier, is it Napier? I should know that probably. Yes, because Kirsten is actually a friend of mine. When this all first happened, I needed to ask a question about the Hookawa Drive, and she came back to me and she said, Louise, you do realise you live in the Hastings district, don't you? I'm like, yeah, I have only been here 20 years. This lovely gentleman here made me remember something else, which is a really positive thing. So Mike King is in town, and he's supporting Greg Miller at Valley Divine, and they have set up a place for counselling. Oh, would you like to say it? Sorry.
Hey guys. For the people outside. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Sweet as. So I'm Greg Miller from Valley Divine Restaurant. I saw everything unfold throughout the whole night, and basically shit got crazy out there. It was crazy out in the valley if you had seen it. But basically, 4 days passed, and my first text was from Mike King, and I texted him back saying, "Don't worry, bro, I'm alive." And then he rang me straight away, and he goes, "What does the community need?" And I was thinking to myself, well, everyone is talking about this, that, and first aid and what was there, but no one mentioned mental health. And what people are going through, what they've seen, is crazy. Like, the first time I broke down was probably now. It was nuts. I think I've seen some people that come to our house down the back there. We looked after the first 2 nights. Shit got crazy. So we've opened this wellness centre. The girls are here somewhere from Rotorua that flew in on a private plane. I think some of them spoke today. There's 4 of them here. They've been to Puketapu. They've been to Twyford. So what we're going to find out where the need is for mental health. We're going to be here for at least minimum 3 months to do this. There's funding for it. Mike King has already raised $90,000 off his own back for this. He would be down here tonight, but he didn't want to cause a scene. So just to let you know that everyone is welcome. It's a welcoming place. Come in, have a coffee, sit down, grab some groceries as well while you're there, and just have a chat. Bring your family down. It's not counselling sessions, it's more just a community to come and have a chat. Because sometimes talking to anyone is better than not talking at all. So please come and see us.
I'm David Carey. I've come down from Tuakau, which is near Auckland, and just arrived today, so this is the first sort of site I've actually had in. And I do a lot of work with people to support them to get a better sleep and massage and sort of healing types of things. So what I'd just like to say is just support each other, eh? You know, just putting your hand on somebody's shoulder, if you feel like that'll help them, is going to be a beautiful thing for them, and it might help them sleep a little bit, right? So just support each other.
Thank you. Okay, so just thank you again so much for your amazing input. Thank you to Stuart for coming, to Jeanette and Kirsten and Sandra and Katie and Mark and Nicole. So thank you for being brave and listening, and I know you've listened, I know you've taken lots of notes, which is fantastic. We will be asking for them to come back to us so that this keeps going. Okay, they're not allowed to leave and forget about us. Okay, we've all agreed on that. So thank you all so much for supporting this. The intention was to be heard, and I think our friend has just explained why we need to be heard. So take advantage of those really great services out there for mental health, especially the kids and what they've seen and what they've had to go through. You know, the ones that didn't have to struggle to get out of their houses, I still haven't got my brain around that yet of what you guys had to go through that night. So please take care and thank you. Good night. I think Stuart is going to stay around for a little bit.
Can you thank the host?
Oh no, sorry, Crib. I was actually going to say, why don't you all buy some bottles of wine to go? Because, you know, it's our moral duty to support local. Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to just say thank you to you.
Oh,
you
no.
have been amazing.
Thank you so much. This is what I do. Crab Farm, you know, Hamish, Gemma, you guys have been an absolute amazing support for us today. You knew this was important. Hamish has lost his house, but here we are, and so, you know, thank you guys. We always support Crab Farm, don't you worry about that. I've got the right here in the register chart. Thank you. And thank you volunteers that have worked out of the hall. I can't thank everyone because we'll be here all night. There's too many, so...